All right, so we're back. This is the second video. As I mentioned at the end of that first video, I would make another video showing you some of the other features. The last video just kind of showed you the layout of the book, how to get through the homework, and my suggestions on how to use the homework. I wanted to also talk about, though, these other features that you see over here. Okay, so again, you have the calendar view, or you have the outline view of the course. Okay, and when you look at this, something that I didn't mention in my last one, but every single one of the chapters will have an introduction and quick prep. All right, so which you don't have to do. Notice as practice. Okay, but it's a good idea to do these things. And these are just things that you should have learned from the last unit, and it takes you through several questions. Just make sure you are mastering those skills so that you are better prepared for the upcoming chapter. All right, so that's one thing to think about. All right, now when you come over here and you look at this, so my notes. So remember, we talked about the fact that in the last video you can highlight things and you can take notes on them. And if you click on this, I'm not going to because it's not going to show you anything for me because I haven't taken any notes, but it will compile all the things that you've highlighted in all your notes in those things. So that's a nice study tool. RSS feed, I don't use that. I don't think that you need to use that either. The chemistry reference, though, is really important. Okay, so this is going to tell you, give you all sorts of different tables, and anytime you do mathematics in chemistry, you're going to have some sort of constant that you're going to need, and this is where you're going to find those constants and all sorts of other things. Okay, so like equilibrium constants, you'll need acid-base ionization constants, and these kinds of things. Don't go to the internet to try and find those things to help you solve problems in this. Come to this, and this will give you, like, for instance, constants table. Okay, Avogadro's number is this. Okay, so I don't need to go to the internet to find that. This is where I'm going to find it. Okay, and that's the best place to do it. All right, now, if you continue to go on here and look at these other things, the glossary, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, the full book. So if you really want to look at the full book, you can certainly do that. This is going to essentially be the book without the interactive components that we see. So you can look at a table of contents, and you can look at, let's, for instance, elements and compounds, and you can just go through this and say, okay, I want to read this, and you just flip through the book. Okay, and this is give you the more traditional view of the book. There are not any interactive elements in it. You can't find homework here, but if you do want to just read it like this, then you can certainly do that. Okay. Flashcards, this would be flashcards that you've made, or there are pre-made flashcards. You can certainly do that. And then finally, my progress would be a good thing. I'm not going to click on it. It doesn't show much in it for me because I'm an instructor, but progress is going to show you what you've done, how much time you spent on particular chapters, what grades you're getting on those particular chapters and homework problems, and those kind of things. Those are reports that are also sent to me, so I can look at those. Again, not to like Big Brother's watching you and I'm going to punish you for something, but to just check to make sure that you are engaging the material and that you are learning and progressing through the class. Okay. Now, the last thing that I want to show you, and this is probably the most important one that I want to show you, and that's the study center. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this up. There you go. And the study center has three really cool things in it. Okay, so first of all, if you're coming up on a unit exam, you can actually create practice quizzes. Okay, so it says create a new quiz, and we can say, okay, well, unit 1 exam is chapters 1, 2, and 3, and so I want to do those, and I need. It says there's 93 questions available. I need 50 of those. Okay, so I'm going to say take the quiz. Okay, and it's going to take a little bit to generate those, but it's pulling questions together from those 3 units, and you'll have to then do these, and you can then submit an answer, and it'll give you your current score, and it'll give you feedback. So for instance, there's 5 moles. I'm going to probably get that wrong. Oh, I did it wrong, and therefore it's going to tell me how do I do that. I can try another version of that question. Really, really cool way to study for the upcoming exam. In fact, I would say that this is one of the best ways to study for the exam. Okay, so, and then of course you can finish it and grade it and that kind of thing, and that gives you a really good understanding of where you are in terms of the content. Okay, and how well prepared you are for that upcoming exam. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and oops, I meant to go back to the study center and show you these things. I should have gone like this, okay? But there's another way to do this, and the quiz is going to give you lots and lots and lots and lots of practice, okay, which is great. You need practice to learn, but you can also create a custom study guide, right? So you can click on this and you can say, okay, I'm going to name this study guide, and I want to do it. Yes, I want to do for chapter 1. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to say I want to pull together key concepts, key equations, and I also made some highlights, and I also made some flashcards. So I'm going to pull that all together, and then you know what I'm going to add, because this is a study guide for the 3rd exam. I'm going to add this. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to have this. Okay, so this is the first exam, the first 3 chapters, and then I'm going to create the study guide. Okay, and that will put together a way for you to walk through the content. And that can be really helpful in terms of understanding where your weaknesses are, and also just essentially the key concepts, so you don't have to go through each chapter again. Okay. And then finally, the last thing, and this is really cool, more practice here. It's not going to show me much for myself because I'm an instructor here, but it can go for you. This will tell you what you've done. Okay, so Unit 1, classification of matter. Okay, you'll have activity 1-2A, 1-2B, 1-2C, and then the mastery, and it will give you a score. And then it will say practice. So let's say, for instance, you got a really lousy score in the mastery of this, and you're like, I really need to practice that. It'll say practice, okay? And you can click on it, and it'll give you practice materials for that, very similar to that created exam that I was talking about, or created quiz that I was talking about earlier, okay? But this tells you, what's really nice about this is it tells you where your weaknesses are based off of your performance in homework, okay? Now, understand this. I might say locked because you don't have a score for this. You can always go back, even after the due date, you can always go back and do the activities. It's just that you won't give them a score for them, okay? I mean, you'll get a score, it'll be 0 out of 10 or whatever, okay? But then you can come back here and do the practice, okay? Just in case you for some reason didn't get through the homework for that particular unit, you can always go back and do that as you prepare for the exams, okay? All right, I think that's it. The study center is super valuable. That's why I wanted to give you this video. So please use that. Please use these other tools. And of course, always reach out to me if you have questions and are really concerned about your progress in the class. Okay.